The executive branch is the part of government that carries out and enforces the laws, and it is led by the president. It has many parts: the president, the cabinet, and the federal departments and agencies, and naming any one of those is a test answer. This module covers how long a president serves, the limit on terms, the president's powers, who takes over if the president cannot serve, the cabinet, and the Electoral College. Several high-value questions live here, and we teach every final answer in full. The president is elected for 4 years. That is the length of one presidential term. A president can serve only 2 terms, a maximum of 2. Why only 2? Because of the 22nd Amendment. The official answers are because of the 22nd Amendment, or to keep the president from becoming too powerful. Anchor it: 4 years per term, 2 terms maximum, and the 22nd Amendment sets the limit. The test asks you to name one power of the president. The accepted list: signs bills into law, vetoes bills, enforces laws, commander-in-chief of the military, chief diplomat, and appoints federal judges. 3 of those are also their own one-line questions. Who signs bills to become laws? The president. Who vetoes bills? The president. Who is commander-in-chief? The president. And who appoints federal judges? The president, not Congress. You only need one power for the name one question, but knowing them all answers several at once. If the president can no longer serve, who becomes president? The vice president. That is the answer the bank wants for the first step. What does the cabinet do? It advises the president. And for name 2 cabinet-level positions, pick any 2, such as Secretary of State, Attorney General, Secretary of the Treasury, or Secretary of Defense. Why is the Electoral College important? It decides who is elected president, and it provides a compromise between the popular election of the president and selection by Congress. For the test, know what it does, not every detail of how it counts. 2 common traps. Trap 1. Declaring war is not a presidential power. Congress declares war, even though the president is commander-in-chief of the military. Trap 2. Appointing federal judges is the president's job, not Congress's. Keep the branch jobs in separate boxes. Congress writes the laws, the president signs or vetoes them and enforces them. The courts review them. So if you hear declares war, think Congress. If you hear appoints judges or signs or vetoes bills, think the president. Here is the full module in one frame. The president leads the executive branch, a 4-year term, 2 terms maximum, set by the 22nd Amendment. Powers: signs bills, vetoes bills, enforces laws, commander-in-chief, chief diplomat, appoints federal judges. If the president cannot serve, the vice president takes over. The cabinet advises. The Electoral College decides who is elected president. Nothing was held back. You know it. The next step is making each answer come out fast, even under interview pressure. Prove it to yourself. Cover the screen. Out loud. The president is elected for how many years, and how many terms can a president serve? Now name one power of the president, and answer: if the president can no longer serve, who becomes president? Compare with the lesson. 4 years per term, 2 terms maximum. A power such as signs bills, vetoes bills, or commander-in-chief. And the vice president becomes president. If any answer paused, that pause is the gap the practice room closes.